You have to wear a mask.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. I'm actually Mr. and Mrs. Kesher also here as well. I'm at the girls' varsity soccer game here tonight, so enjoying a nice night here. So wanted to get started here and try to get you guys out at a decent time tonight. My first piece that I would just like to share. Obviously, most of you know that today was our first day back at school, back in the building with kids in a hybrid format. We have another admit here. We will talk buses here shortly. That'll be a main theme for tonight. I did want to share just a quick shout out and a kudos to our staff, to our support staff, to our teachers, everybody that had a hand in today specifically. Once the kids got onto campus, I feel like things went extremely smoothly. I was very impressed by our students. I think that they were on campus prepared for the day with things that our teachers had asked them to bring. So they were prepared. They were respectful. I think that they enjoyed themselves. The only piece of today that I would not give an absolute 100% thumbs up to was the busing transportation piece. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. But even our self-transport folks with the flow of that, both first thing this morning and this afternoon, I thought both of those times of the day went extremely smooth. We had Mrs. Veit out there helping with us to help our kids into their correct classes. And then she was also there in the afternoon to call the kids from their line to their car. We had all of our students today in their appropriate transportation by 3:15 today. In fact, when we got back to the office, it was 3:12. And so we felt really good about the fact that our kids were accounted for and on their way home by 3:15. So again, everything that we had direct control of, I felt really good about for today. Some of that busing, some of the busing issues, I believe will start to be ironed out with some changes that our district made today. And again, I'll share those. But yes, at this point, for being our first day back in hybrid, I think it was a really good day. I know that Mr. Poole is on. I know that Mrs. Galvez is on. I would love to hear from either Sean or from Danielle, just kind of thoughts and your guys's perspective in terms of being long time staff here. Sean, do you want to chime in?
Sure. Of course, my students aren't back full time yet. That's going to come Thursday. But so I was able to take the opportunity and walk around during a recess time. I got to check out PE in the gym for the youngers. I walked through the main building and peeked into the classes, and it was just amazing. It was great to see students back, even though it's still limited. It's sure like it's supposed to be a school.
Danielle, are you able to share anything? I don't know if you're having issues with your internet at all, but if you wanted to share anything, I would appreciate that as well. All right, we'll give Mrs. Danielle a pass this morning. There we go. Mrs. Galvez says, my internet is horrible, but it was an amazing day. So that's great. Again, as we head into tomorrow, again, we are looking at just those K4 students in that cohort B. Again, I think a big piece of the anxiety to be lowered was the fact that we were half as large, if not below that. Our cohort B is slightly larger than our cohort A. So this was our smallest day, and then we will progress throughout the week. But I think in terms of what we could ask for today, I was really impressed with staff, really impressed with the students, more than appreciative for our parents that have had to deal with as many changes and the busing situation. It's been difficult, and we acknowledge that, and we appreciate your patience as we move closer to what we hope will be each week just a better week for us. We have 12 weeks left, and that's our goal, to make that to make each week to be a little bit better. So I am going to address the bus piece at this time. The main issue that we currently have with our transportation department, which is technically not a part of our school district, we contract out with them. But the main concern that all of the schools in the district have right now are they were short some drivers, but also with that, the drivers that they have brought in to help support are from out of state. And so the transition time for those folks to learn routes and learn the intricacies of not only our route, but all the routes within the district is obviously a difficult process. There have been ongoing weekly, monthly discussions about how to get those folks in as soon as we can, or as soon as we could, through the fall, through the first part of the year. And all I can say is that we were met with some pushback at the time, and we felt like that Durham was going to have a handle on our routes after now basically a week of orientation week last week, and then full hybrid for our K4s across the district. Today, it was apparent that some changes needed to be made. So effective today, we actually have an administrator that is in our district, serves as a principal for another school, is taking over some of the administrative responsibilities at the Durham bus transportation department. So we will now have a direct line to an administrator that works in the district, and then we have also hired a person from Durham now is in the district office as well, and she is the lead for all routes. So we hope that with these changes over the course of the next 3 days, and then the use of spring break, the hope is that when we come back after spring break, we are in a different position. So for tonight, I have been given the heads up that tomorrow will look similar to today, in that we will try to combine our 2 routes down into 1 route. And basically the reason that we can do that today and tomorrow is because we only have our K4s. And so if it was our full K8 folks, we would probably be too large of groups to have on one route. I am going to allow Stacy to unmute, and looks like she might have a question. Mrs. Spears?
Yeah, my question, my son, when he rides the bus, he'll be on the Robert Frost one.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been trying to get a hold of Durham to change his stop for when he gets off to be up here at the house.
Okay.
Because dad will be here in time, and I can't get a hold of anybody to make that happen.
So, and I apologize. I actually should not laugh. Yes, please send that email to myself and Danielle, and we will communicate that with Heather Johnson here at the district office, and then we will make that work. We will do whatever we can to make that work for tomorrow, but we will confirm that when we can.
Thank you.
Yes, Danielle, do you want to chime in on that at all, even in the chat bar? Okay. Was there somebody else that popped on and had a question, maybe about buses specifically? So my plan is tonight, as soon as I hear exactly what time those adjusted routes are, I will send that out. My hope is it is going to be something similar to what was sent out last week that says route 27 or 28 will run 30 minutes after its scheduled time. Again, I have not received what that specific time is yet, but last night I received it about 7:30. So as soon as I get that information, I will share that out. So again, and I think I shared this with a parent earlier through an email. This is not what we're dealing with today and tomorrow. That is not our long-term plan. We do have 2 full routes, both morning and afternoon, and then we also have one of our sped routes as well. So each day we basically have three routes, and we are going to do what we can over the course of the next three days to minimize the wait time and the late drops and pickups as much as we can. Other questions in terms of the busing, or again, Mrs. Spears' question about how, there might be a morning pickup at this location, but a drop off in that location. We can typically make that work, but what they've asked for us on that is for two days. But I can tell you we have had some movement in terms of administration there, and so we are hoping that we can get things moving a little bit quicker. So we are excited about that. And if we're okay on buses, I would like to transition in to talk a little bit more about the middle school specifically. But again, feel free at any time if you have a question, and again, does not have to be on the topic that we are discussing right now. You can type that into the chat, and I will kind of do what I can to get back to that question. So again, the bus piece is not completed. The bus situation is still a situation as we sit now, and as soon as I have more information, I will send that out. As far as the middle school goes, just with some things that we saw today and adjustments that we'll continue to kind of play with, I think it's going to be important for your students to know that as we go through this week, and again, probably the week after spring break, just because of it's going to feel like a first week again, because we're going to have a day or two this week, and then we're going to go into a spring break, and then when we come back, it's going to be new again. So there will be some time to where we need to adjust, but I would encourage your students to just have a good plan for their day. So if they're planning to have breakfast, make sure that we've had that discussion with them. If they are planning to bring their lunch or have lunch from the school, that's fantastic. Just make sure that they kind of have a grasp of, yep, I'm a hot lunch person on this day. If you are planning to have your student bring meals home, make sure that they are aware of that. Our staff did a fantastic job today kind of working through those. And again, I feel like that our older kids will have a little bit better grasp of those things. But again, if you, well, I guess even for our K4s as well, if you can have those discussions with your students before they come, that would be great. I was going to look down, and I feel terrible because I believe Mrs. Hirth is still on here. Oh, she was. I'm not seeing her. But if Mrs. Hirth is on, if you wanted to unmute and chat, that would be fantastic as well, to kind of give a take on how you thought the day went. As far as the middle school plan, again, our cohort A group is on Thursday and our cohort B group is on Friday. Again, our middle school students will not have as much transition as what they're used to. So instead of transitioning from each of their teachers' rooms, so say from Mr. Feller to Mrs. Sears to Mr. Poole, the students will actually be staying in their classrooms with built-in time to be out for a recess and obviously PE as well. But there will be time for them to get out. But for their academic portions, they will be in their same class. So our 5 and 6 folks will stay in Mr. Feller's class for the duration of their academic time. Mrs. Sears' homeroom folks will stay in her class for their entire academic time, and then the 8th graders will stay in Mr. Poole's room for the day. And then our teachers, as their day moves along, our teachers will actually move from class to class. They will all have PE together with Mr. Poole in the gym, and I know that he's talked about that a little bit, but we are looking forward to having those kids be able to be together and run around together and play together. We could potentially have up to as many as 50 in the gym at one time. Our largest cohort, I believe, for the middle school, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Poole, based on who we're planning to have, are we at 19? Is that the large one, or is it a 24 day? I can't remember. I think we have a new person joining us here.
I believe it's 22. I think 22 ended up being our biggest cohort for 5-8. I might be off by 1 or 2.
Yep. And so we will have plenty of room for all of our kids to be in the gym as a group. And so we are looking forward to that. Does anybody have any questions in terms of the plan maybe for the middle school starting on Thursday with their full days? I'm going to talk drop locations again, just to go through that. I'm going to talk screening your child and what that looks like. But are there any specific questions in terms of the middle school folks or the folks that might be coming for the first time tomorrow? Okay. Again, as reminders for our drop, we are asking our self-transport folks, those that are getting a ride to school, to enter campus by way of Drake's Road. And again, the reason why we are asking that is because the way that our traffic will flow into the gravel lot in front of the office there, it just makes more sense for us. So again, if you are a self-transport parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle, please encourage those folks to enter campus by way of Drake's Road. I just missed a chat, so let me jump over there. Will the students have any instructional time from teachers on the days they are home? So I'm going to talk on the K4 side, and then I'm going to talk on the middle school side. So with our K4 folks, there will not be any live instructional time on those off days. When those kids go home, when those K4s go home on their day, so say that they were a Tuesday cohort and they're going home for Wednesday, the idea is what skills and what units that they were working on, or anything that had been in a lesson for that day. The idea is their take home work for that next off day or out of person day would be a build upon from what they learned in class. And then when they would come back to class on Thursday, then again, they would get more of that direct instruction time with the teacher, and then an opportunity to take more work home on that Friday, potentially to expand there. So I hope that answers the question for the K4s. In the 5-8, there's going to be a little bit more flexibility just in the way that we are doing some of our PE time and some of our office hours, there is a little bit more time, and we'll discuss this more with our middle school parents specifically, but there is going to be, we hope, a little bit more time for our students to potentially jump onto a live meet with our teacher on their off days. Again, more information to come on that. We are trying to iron that plan out right now as we speak. I guess not this evening, but Mr. Poole and I talked about it yesterday specifically, and we're going to take a look at how that might work for Thursday. So again, more information to come on that from the middle school folks specifically. But yes, we do feel like that the middle school students will have some opportunity to join in some live instructional time with their teachers on their off day. Any other questions? Again, they do not have to be specific to the middle school. The only reason that I keep kind of throwing that out there is that, with our K4s got going today with the first cohort, and then we're obviously going to bring the next ones in tomorrow. There might be some more lingering questions for our middle school folks that might not have been on campus yet, and so if there are logistical questions, again, for either group, please feel free to either throw those in the chat or you can unmute and call or talk, I guess. Okay, I am going to discuss just a little bit more in terms of that. We're going to go into spring break, and then we're going to come back that week of the 29th. We are hoping that all of our routes will be filled with bus drivers at that time. But when we come back, the hope is that we can try to, as soon as we can, we are going to try to do what we can to create time to where we could potentially bring in students to campus on their off days as well. Some things that obviously play into that are our staffing. So is our support staff able to help with that? Is our regular teaching staff available to help with that? But we are hoping to look at some of those students that were in our limited in person over the course of the last 8 weeks or so. We are trying to look at ways to potentially bring those students onto campus after spring break. That will not be the first week back of spring break. In fact, I've shared with some parents that we're kind of trying to aim for that April 15th date. We want to kind of get a few weeks under our belt here in terms of the flow and where kind of our gaps in our day to where we can maximize that with kids are. So that is in discussion. We don't have those dates locked down yet, but that is something that we are obviously going to explore. Any other questions in terms of support for students or logistics of the hybrid? Any other questions in general? I am going to speak just on one more topic here before we close things down. I don't see any more questions. I don't see any more hands raised. Again, if any questions come up, please feel free to submit those. You can send them by email. You can put them in the chat here if we are still on. Feel free to call the office at any time. We are hoping that we are here to try to help and answer questions. So the last piece that I wanted to touch base on was where the district is at in terms of the principal search for Silvercrest specifically. We were shared with yesterday from our folks at the district office that there were interviews conducted last week, and that we are moving forward to the next round of which is case studies with our applicants that are still in the pool. And so those case studies will actually be taking place next Wednesday, March 24th. I will actually be sitting in on those case studies as well. I have not been told that I will have this opportunity, but I'm hoping that I'll have an opportunity to share some feedback and some thoughts. The folks that are conducting those or going to listen to those are more than qualified, and I know that they have a good plan of what they are trying to look for, and what they are trying to look in terms of what they want to fill in terms of the role. And with that, I just did want to also say that the Silvercrest posting, for those that were not aware, the Silvercrest principal posting position was also paired with a position at the district office or based out of the district office as the assistant director of teaching and learning for district wide. So, and I say out of the district office, I don't want to speak out of turn there. I do not believe that person will be working from the district office, but in terms of the other piece of the 0.5 position, it will be paired with the assistant director of teaching and learning for the district. So I just felt like that was good information to share. My role after June will be returning back to the high school as the assistant principal and athletic director. And so I have shared with our staff that I can't thank our staff enough. I can't thank our parents enough for the opportunity to come up and get to work with all of you folks, all of our staff. Everybody talks about what a special group it is, and you don't really get to. I don't really think you get to have a good perspective of that or be able to speak well enough about that until you've spent some time with the staff and with our students, with our parents and community up there. And again, I just want to make sure that I give a thank you to all of our parents, all of our students, all of our staff, again, on a great opportunity for me, a great learning opportunity, but also a chance to learn about a school in our district and hopefully meet some kids that I'll get to see here in a few years. I think that given the situation that we were in for this year, I think that this staff has done an amazing job coming together, working towards a ever moving target, but it was a target or a goal, and to be able to share the next 3 months or so with this group is going to be great. So again, I thank each one of you for that. And as I shared with our staff in November when I came up to Silvercrest, I shared I can't speak to a lot of what's going on, but what I can commit to for our staff is that I'm going to do whatever I can. I know through June, and we will see what goes on from there. So I think that I can stay with that commitment, and I look forward to the next 3 months as well. So yeah. Any other questions or comments that popped up? Again, does not have to be on the principal search piece, but anything in particular about the logistics for hybrid or where we might be headed, or any other wrinkles that we might see on the horizon? Hopefully over the course of the next month, we will continue to see our numbers go down, and we will continue to see things continue to open up more, which would be great. Anything else for tonight? I'm going to get ready to stop the recording unless we have any other questions that might be helpful to other folks. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording and it will be posted on our district YouTube page.